basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I do understand that. That was President Donald Trump, and as of this morning, it seemed as though the ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel was basically off. And that was what Trump was responding to. He was frustrated by it. But what was even more surprising was the tough talk that he had for Israel. Take a look.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that.
So he's referring to Iran allegedly shooting a rocket or a missile that may have been shot accidentally. It didn't hurt anyone, it didn't damage anything. And then in response to that, Israel basically does what Israel usually does, okay, overreact, over-respond, and use disproportionate force. Now, that's the reason why he had harsher words for Israel. And to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever heard an American president be so critical of Israel, openly, overtly. You'll read about what they have to say about Israel behind the scenes, maybe. But in this case, wow. Now, let me just quickly say, Cenk, before I go to you, the ceasefire is back on. I still think it's a little bit fragile considering the fact that we all know that Israel wants a regime change war. That's what they want. Now, their statements later in the day made me think maybe this will hold. I don't want to get too hopeful because every time I get too hopeful, things fall apart. But Cenk, I'm curious what you think.
No, I'm going to go way further. I loved it. It's the first time I've ever seen an American president do that in my lifetime. And so, okay, now the usual caveats, and then I'll get back to why I loved it. That doesn't mean I love Trump. That doesn't mean I agree with everything Trump does. That doesn't mean that I agreed with Trump when he dropped bombs on Iran. It doesn't mean that I have a mind meld with everything Trump does just because I agree with one thing he did. Okay, now back to our regular programming. Okay, so did you ever see Biden going, both these countries, Israel and Iran, are effing around, right? No, he would never say that about Israel. And so him yelling at Israel is just unprecedented. I mean, show me an American president who yelled at Israel in my lifetime.
NBC News reported today that the Israelis were stunned by
yes, okay. And so, look, guys, it's not just standard caveats. It's true. He started the war in the first place. He shouldn't have done that, right? He shouldn't have dropped the bombs. And I was furious with him. And we were on tape. You saw it when it happened. When he does terrible things, you massively criticize him, right? Now, when he's doing the right thing and going, okay, well, now we're going to do a ceasefire. And Israel, this ceasefire also applies to you. Then you go, okay, attaboy, finally an American president, right? Because every time there's a ceasefire, if you don't know this, Israel breaks it. Is it every single time? No. Is it almost every time? Yes, okay? So what Israel did this time was the same as they've always done. They're like, oh, ceasefire, great. We'll get to keep bombing him. They dropped 100 bombs on Tehran after the ceasefire. That's why Trump was furious.
Right.
He said, he's like, I said ceasefire. So, I mean, we're gonna give you the details. He called Netanyahu, etc., right? But for an American president to say, no, Israel was wrong, because the framing of the question, the media as always was like, are you gonna yell at Iran for breaking the ceasefire? And that's when Trump said, no, they both broke it, and I'm more mad at Israel. And I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either. Yeah. So
right. Normally, what an American president would do is, yes, Iran broke the ceasefire. They'd lie on behalf of Israel. They say, yes, Iran broke the ceasefire. We hate Iran. We're thinking of going back and bombing them again. And of course, Israel's right about everything. The very fact that an American president is saying that Israel is wrong is unprecedented, and it's an enormous relief. He could turn around any minute now, but for now, I'll take it.
Okay, so luckily the ceasefire appears to be holding for now. Okay, so as of this morning, the Wall Street Journal reported that Israel confirmed the ceasefire, saying that it had achieved its war aims, having removed a dual existential threat from Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs. So they want to claim victory, and if that's what we need to allow them to do, just so they like step back and stop warring with Iran, great. Yes, you guys won. You guys did everything you wanted to do. Iran's foreign minister had said that his country would stop its attacks as long as Israel stopped theirs. In addition to that, and much to the chagrin of neoconservatives like Mark Levin, Trump made clear that the US was not seeking regime change in Iran. Now remember, over the weekend, he flirted with the idea of regime change in Iran, but I think something happened between then and now. Likely a contingent of his supporters were like, we didn't vote for this. You said that you weren't going to start new wars. This is a new war. So he might have backed off for that reason, but we don't know for sure, obviously. Israel has lifted nearly all wartime restrictions on civilian movement and economic activity in Israel. And the Israeli airport authority said Ben Gurion and Haifa airports are returning to full activity. They wouldn't do that if they intended to start bombing Iran again. But what should be concerning is what the Wall Street Journal also reported about how Israel is now going to shift its attention back to Gaza. Now, let me be clear, the slaughter has continued in Gaza, that hasn't stopped. Every single day, there's new reports about dozens of civilians getting shelled at, shot, killed by IDF soldiers. And you also have the chief of staff for the IDF saying, we have concluded a significant phase. Now the focus shifts back to Gaza to bring the hostages home and to dismantle the Hamas regime. So I'm worried about things getting even more brutal for Palestinians in Gaza. We can talk about that in just a minute. But Cenk, I was unfortunately juggling my mom in the hospital and the news today. But tell me about the conversation that Trump had with Bibi Netanyahu.
Yeah, the sources from both mainstream media and MAGA media saying that he ripped Netanyahu a new a-hole.
Yes.
Okay, and not like when Biden would fake go, oh, I am so mad at you. How big do you want the check to be, right? Now, to be fair to Biden, he did not want to attack Iran, right? So fair is fair on all of that. So now, in terms of what's the next part of this is, I'm really worried about it. So the good news is that it appears as Israel actually does want to stop the war with Iran, which I'm super afraid to say because, again, they could change any second now, and they usually love war. And they leaked intel today, not Israel. Somebody leaked it from our intelligence, but half the time that's usually fake Israeli intelligence. Either way, I don't know if it's real or fake, but they say, oh, I don't think we got all of the uranium. I think I'm not saying we got to go back, but CNN is reporting that, and the pundits are going, oh, we got to go back. We didn't get all the uranium.
God, they're the worst.
Right, so it's possible that Israel doesn't really want peace, and they might want to keep.
No, it's not, Cenk.
No. Let me finish. Yeah, I hear you. No, there's two potential objectives that they have, right? Well, they've stated those two objectives, so they're not potential. So the question is, are they going to try to pursue both or only one of them, right? And why would they only pursue one of them? One of their objectives was not the nuclear stuff. They don't have a nuke. They knew that they weren't going to have a nuke. It was for regime change. So they didn't get regime change in Iran. They did destroy those facilities and they struck back, but are they satisfied with that, or are they going to get greedy and push and push? But the second objective, don't lose track of this, is a bigger objective for Israel, which is, hey, I just destroyed Hamas. The whole idea of dismantling, literally all Hamas leaders are dead. Okay, they destroyed Hezbollah. Literally all of Hezbollah's leaders are dead. So they have new leaders because that's what happens when you kill their leaders, right? But they decimated them as much as they could possibly decimate them. They cleared out Western Syria, they cleared out Southern Lebanon, and now they've cleared out any offensive capabilities of Iran. So now, militarily, there's no one to defend the Palestinians.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
yes.
So now you could say, hey, they shouldn't have defended them that way, and it's terrorism, and it's awful, etc. Okay, no problem, okay? But that is what was happening. And so now without that, Israel thinks free reign, total ethnic cleansing, drive them into the desert, And this is, again, not speculation, it's not anti-Semitic. Their cabinet voted on it. And if it's anti-Semitic, then their cabinet is anti-Semitic. Because they voted on it that they're going to conquer Gaza and take all of it for Israel to set up greater Israel, right?
Yes, yep.
So now they think, okay, now we've decimated any defense they might have had, and Trump will let us do whatever we want as long as we're not bothering him. So now we get to finish the genocide, okay? And so that is probably their number one motive and why they don't mind backing off from Iran at this point. But like I said, they might get greedy and go, nah, we want both. We want regime change and to ethnically cleanse Gaza, so they might agitate for more war. So we don't know that yet, and we'll see how the developments are going. But you could tell that Netanyahu was relatively okay with the ceasefire. And oh, by the way, also because he wasn't gonna listen to it. He thought that, ceasefire means they stop attacking, and the American president lies for me and I get to keep attacking, right? So he didn't expect that Trump would say, no, you stop too. He was like genuinely shocked by that. So, okay, but it seems like he might not mind backing away. How do I know that? Because Mark Levin, who basically is, he's Israel first, obviously. He's a neocon,
yes,
he's a war hawk, etc.
Yep.
So he was like, this is terrible. I hate the word ceasefire, right? And then afterwards, he put out a tweet going, I so hate it, but Netanyahu says it's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Shut up, bitch. Yeah.
So since he's a little puppy dog bitch for Netanyahu, when he goes, it's okay, that means Netanyahu's told him, hey, go tell sucker Americans that it's okay. I'm now delivering a message through you, but you're American. Go get a mark. They still think you're an American. That's hilarious. Go ahead.
Now, back to Trump's motivations and what might have persuaded him. Polling indicated that Americans felt a certain way about going to war with Iran, bombing Iran. Let's take a look at what our good friend Harry Enton had to say about it.
Things are moving quite quickly, but these are initial readings, and I will say from a historical perspective, I am surprised that the net approval rating is so low on these strikes, and it's in two different polls. It's our CNN SSRS poll, 12 points underwater, 1 thumbs down. How about the Reuters Ipsos poll? Look at that, the exact same reading, -9 points underwater, 2 thumbs down. Normally these airstrikes rate quite highly, but this one, you go back through history, it rates as the lowest that I could possibly find on the historical record.
How about Republican opinion on this?
Yeah, I think there's this idea, okay, maybe the MAGA base wouldn't necessarily like this. Look, this is Donald Trump's Republican Party. That's what I think is so important to note. GOP on the US airstrikes in Iran, 76% in the average of the two polls approve, compared to just 18% who disapprove. Now, I will note that is a bit higher than Donald Trump's disapproval rating within the Republican Party, but overall, Republicans are with Donald Trump on this. Tucker Carlson be darned.
Tucker Carlson be darned. Now, I wish that same poll got into the idea of a protracted or prolonged war with Iran over their alleged nuclear program, which it was never really about their nuclear program. How do Republican voters feel about a regime change war? I still believe that the majority of Republican voters probably would back a regime change war in Iran. But I think the percentage who would not back it would increase significantly if we're talking about a long forever war in an effort to change the regime in Iran.
Yeah. Look, no. This is one I've given Harry Enton a lot of credit before, but this is one where he's massively biased. I don't know if it's him or CNN, but it's comical. So first off, he's like, I don't know why it's so low. I mean, what the hell? Of course we should bomb Iran. Harry, you're saying it out loud. Like we can hear you when you say, I don't know why it's so low. I need it to be higher, attack. CNN's telling me in my ear, attack. Okay, but that's not even the big tell. The big tell was in the second poll. They said in a combined average of CNN and Reuters, and I was checking the bottom as he was saying that to see what the source was, because I know in the CNN poll, more Republicans disagree with Trump. They did an average to lessen the effect of their own poll.
To be fair, every time we use a Harry Enton clip, he does do averages.
No.
Doesn't he?
No, he sometimes does a poll, and he did on this issue too. And then he'll say, and most of the polls are like this. Sometimes he'll use averages. A lot of times he'll use a single poll. I haven't seen him combine just 2 polls like that. To be fair, they were on the same issue.
Right.
I could see why he would combine them, but like I noticed that the CNN poll came out more MAGA disagreeing with Trump. And I remember thinking, because we covered this once before, I wonder if they'll report that. And what did they do? They didn't report it by itself. They put it together with the Reuters poll to drive up the number. Because what they're basically saying is, now Donald Trump, if you want to make your base happy, still attack Iran. I mean, attacking Iran is a really, really good idea. I don't know why these overall numbers are low. But remember, among your base, not bad, not bad. Keep going, keep going. Come on, man, come on. You're being super obvious.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, the same CNN that we showed you yesterday, immediately brought on a general to say, Trump was brilliant and decisive, and these strikes are great. Oh, yeah. And I saw another clip just earlier today where they had this hilarious thing. They're like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's in one of our stories today. Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be splitting and saying that the real MAGA is against the war, and she's attacking neocons. And then CNN goes to a neocon pundit, and the pundit goes, there are no neocons.
Right.
And MAGA does whatever Trump wants, and Trump is for the war. Okay, okay. So
why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break, come back, and we're gonna show you that clip. You're gonna see exactly how it went down. It is an incredible story. There is that split in the Republican Party, the anti-war versus the pro-war, and we're gonna provide the proof.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.